Okay, we are live. So welcome to the Immortals After Dark read along. Again, we are almost at the end. Today, we're actually going to be talking about Munro and the Witch Queen of Halloween. So I think it won't be as long of a one this time either, because I feel like we're going to focus more on Munro. I did really like the Witch Queen of Halloween. I thought it was a much better novella than the last novella that we had.
I agree.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about those two books. We're almost to the end of this read along. Those of you who are tuning in, or if you're checking in later, don't worry. Like, if you're watching this at a later time, still send us some comments. I love seeing those later. I know it's been quite a commitment to stick to this many books, but Helen has been a trooper and she's still here with me. So so while we're waiting for some people, hopefully some people come on. What are you currently reading, Helen?
Oh, well, it's right next to me. I'm reading a book that I would not normally pick. This one here, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And the reason I've got this is because I've been doing a traveling book club with some people from work. And so
I saw that. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, I would love to do that with people.
So you've got all these tabs in it, because I'm the third person to read this one, so I've been tabbing it. I'm like just over halfway through. It's not the sort of book I would normally read, but it's interesting. It's quite
That's cool.
amusing, a bit funny, and it's about these people back in the 90s who kind of met and made a video game, and now they kind of have a video game company. So
wow!
Lots of retro,
and then you get to see everybody's annotations or whatever in there.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And then they're all tabbed, and eventually it'll go back to the person who picked it, and then they'll have the full book with all of our.
That's really cool. That's cool. I like that idea. If anybody at my work would want to read the things that I want to read,
Well, it's a really diverse mix of people, and I basically gave them Still Beating. I was like,
that's a good one. But that's a pretty interesting one to dive them into,
Well, I was thinking I want to introduce them to dark romance, but I thought it was a good kind of good entry point because it's dark, but their hero isn't dark.
Yeah, and it's like psychological, but it's like more like emotional and like mental. Like, it's not like a guy being like brutally abusive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Arena Kent or Sam Mariano.
Yeah, they're not ready for that. But I was like, I feel like it's good entry level.
I know, they're like always like, oh, what's a book you always recommend? But I'm like, okay, the book that I always want to recommend is like, I can't really, like, I always want to break, like, dark romances and things to people that maybe it won't work for them. So those are always kind of hard. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually rereading the Wallflower series. I just decided, from Lisa Klipes. I just decided I want to reread it, and like I want to do like maybe deep dive videos like on her series, because it's one of my favorite historical romance series. It has one of my favorite heroes, Sebastian St. Vincent, in it, because he's a rake and he's a reformed rake, so he's my favorite. So I'm reading the second book right now. And then I'm reading Beautiful Carnage, which is like a dad's best friend, kind of mafia-esque, like a kind of mafia. They're like got a society. It's like they run the town, they run guns. And so it's criminal empire, but it is, kind of mafia. Because I was trying to get some more dad's best friends in, because I was going to make a video, and I realized like all the books that I read are like in the same series. So it's like I would be recommending a series kind of thing. So yeah, so that's what I'm reading so far, just trying to wrap up the month, and then get to everything I have to read in December. So,
yeah.
All right, let's dive into Munro. Okay, so Munro is one that luckily for you and I, we didn't have to wait for, but a lot of people were waiting for a really long time. So, I'm just going to put this up. I don't even know if I'll use the banners really, but what did you rate, or how did you feel about Munro?
So I gave Munro 4 stars. I was really looking forward to Munro. I just didn't quite deliver what I was hoping. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite though.
That I didn't know what I wanted to rate it. I was like, I was kind of 4.5, but then I was like, really, it just didn't compare to how I felt about McGreeve. Like McGreeve was just so powerful to me, and I was really excited for Munro after his introduction in that, and this kind of felt like kind of a lesser Munro to me than like what I was kind of expecting. I still enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I just thought there were some pacing parts in like the last half that kind of was, you know, so I still enjoyed it. It just, I had to kind of think about it also in relation to like what I rated the other books. I'm like, would I compare, which would I like better, McGreeve or Munro? And I'm like, McGreeve was so much more powerful to me. So I think I'm going to settle on a 4-star for it because I think it's a really good read, and maybe I'll like it more on re-listening to it, but it also just didn't seem up to like her most recent ones that she had written. Like, again, like Sweet Ruin was like a 6-star read for me. And so I just am like, oh, okay, well, it didn't have the same feelings as that one, but I did like a lot of parts of it.
Yeah. And I wonder if there's something reflected in that in the gap between the books, and obviously she kind of like almost burnt out, right? She's taken a big break. And I think she struggled.
I know I saw some people's reviews being like, this isn't Cressley Cole. I don't think Cressley Cole wrote this. And I was just like, okay, that's getting a little feisty. I can see Cressley Cole in this. Like, it's definitely, it's Cressley Cole had all her signature things. I just felt like maybe she had a lot of pressure to deliver on this book. It was a bigger gap. And like, so she kind of, I mean, not to say this isn't good. Like, a lot of people were blown away by this book, all giving it like 5 stars and stuff. But I just didn't think it was at the same level of the ones that I've given 5 stars to. So that's why I kind of had to go with a 4-star. And I just wasn't as into like the heroine as I was in previous books. She kind of frustrated me at points. And I thought Munro was swoon-worthy and great, but it was kind of like the side characters. Even when the side characters are brought in, it's like they have more charisma and interest to me than like the main couple did. So then that's kind of something too that was like, okay, when Leclerc and you know his wife come in, you're kind of like, oh, okay, this isn't the same level as like what I felt for them. So
I agree with you. A solid read. It was a good book, but I didn't. There was just.
I don't know. It just, you know, and there was a lot going on in it. And I think too, like I have some issues too when we do like time travel. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I was starting to feel dumb. I'm like, wait, they are time traveling, but they can't exist in that one. So they're like not really themselves. They're like a copy, but like not. And I was like, okay, time travel always gets me. But yeah. So I guess we'll go. What did you think about Munro? Like the hero?
I obviously like Munro. I kind of liked him in the previous books as well when we were like leading up to him. I think he's a really interesting character because he's supposed to be the most like the Lyco that has the most control over his own beast, right? So he's very very controlled. He doesn't let it out. So I think that whole story arc from him, like, I'm not going to turn. I've got more control over my beast than anyone else, and I'm going to be steadfast in doing that. And then kind of like how he then has to, you know, transform. Then how is he going to rein it back in? Because now his beast has got so much power. Is he going to be able to take the control back? I was quite interested in that. Because he seemed like this very, like in the other books, he seemed very capable, right? He was always in control. He was like the logical one and really helping McGreeve through his issues. And in this one, we see him start to struggle with his own beast a little bit. And how is he going to rein control?
I think that beginning part was so interesting and exciting, and like, but it didn't carry through for me. But like, I thought that was really interesting, where he had been searching for his mate for forever. And he finds her, and it's like he was able to be strong enough to go against those sorcerers and be like, I'm not churning. Like, he had to deal with William and help him with his beast and all his issues forever. So he had such good control, but it's like he had to save her. And so he had to churn and be basically enslaved to them. So I thought that whole intro was really exciting. And then, you know, I thought that I do really like his character. I thought he was, you know, I don't know. It just maybe it didn't have as much devastation that I like, and like I like in McCreeve because he went through the turmoil.
I mean, he's not as damaged, is he? His like
Yeah.
trauma is a little bit more recent in the fact that, oh no, he's just killed his mate, and now he's got to go back in time to kind of rescue
Yeah.
her. But
Like
I
that
think,
was brutal though when he was like forced to throw her like into the acid and all those type of things. I'm like, this poor guy. But I love how he like basically has the rage. He's like, okay, I can use this rage to fully go so that he can go against them. And then basically makes that sorcerer like under his control type of thing. So I thought that was interesting. I liked the whole like going back in time and like interrupting a wedding. I don't know. I always just love that. Like although she did already get married to the guy, which I thought he would just like interrupt it. But yeah. So I guess that leads into what you thought about the heroine. What's her name? Ren, but it's like forget her name. I guess we'll just call her Ren.
Yeah, we'll call her Ren. Yeah. I mean, again, she's obviously a very strong-willed character, right? So I feel like I know you said she annoyed you at parts, but I think here's a person who's very independent. She's the leader of her crew. She's not naive about the world. She's got a lot of experience. She understands what it means to be kind of part of the law and everything. And I think she's very much defined because quite a lot of the heroines in this story have had to be turned immortal in order to stay with their mates, right? Or have found out that they are actually part of the law, so somehow they're going to be immortal. But she's not drawn in by the idea of immortality. She is like she really values her humanity, and she wants the choice to be hers. So I kind of like that because I feel like it's telling us something about she wants her own independence, and she wanted Munro to see her for who she was. And it was only when he finally like saw her as an equal that she then relented and was like, okay, I'm happy to be immortal now. It's still like my choice, and you haven't forced this upon me. So I thought she was actually quite an interesting character from the whole, like almost like a feminism perspective, because she's very like, I'm very independent. I've got my own mind. I don't want to buy into this whole fate thing. I want to have some of my own agency, and so that's kind of what I quite like about her.
I think she was very strong. I think like when I got annoyed with her was how much she was fighting becoming immortal. But then when you find out what happened to her parents, and like that's why, you know, she did not want to that, you know, like she didn't want to go that way. She wanted to be immortal. She didn't want to change who she was. But then she wanted him at one point to be like human, go human for her. And I was just like, okay, but you're not willing to. So like, and he fully calls her out and is like, well, that's selfish that you don't want to do, you know? So, and he's coming from a logical perspective of like, you are in danger. Like we're mates. Like this is like, you need to do this. And it's kind of like, I waited for my mate my whole life. I don't have the time to deal with this with you. Like so he's being bullheaded. She's being bullheaded. So it's both of them. So it wasn't like, she didn't like piss me off like other heroines. Like I was just like, okay, let's like get this ball rolling. You know, you need to be his mate. And then when she's thinking she's going to use the ring for like a different reason, but then I liked how once she realized, she's like, oh, well, the people, like, you can't really change that past, and they went on to die or whatever. So like her going back to like save her people really wasn't gonna do anything. So once she comes to the terms of like she's falling for him, she goes all in with it, and I did really like that. I also liked her whole journey of when she does have to get bitten for him to like save her. You know, she like how she when she gets pregnant, and then when she, you know, has to try and control her beast, like since she's like a newling or whatever they call him. I thought that was really interesting. Like, so I think she's a really strong heroine. You know, I think it was just that the pacing in the middle and like the last half was kind of like, so I don't know. And I might have been more interested in the side characters at that point, because then we're going to the Dacians and seeing Lothair and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I didn't hate her by any means. I think she was really, and I think she's a perfect match for him. Like, and
Mhm.
she's very strong. I liked the whole like dream sequence that she had with her beast too, where she like, instead of being like, oh, you're gonna be under my control, like she's like asking it, like, you know, so she went about it in a different way. And that whole like giving birth while they're under attack and all of that going down just made her even more strong, and just somebody, you know, like you could look up to her kind of character. So I think she was a really interesting, you know, character. And I thought, you know, Cressley did a good job of giving like that balance between those
Mhm.
two, because they're both so strong.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was just kind of shocked with how much was going on in like the last half, like with like the pregnancy and all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh wow, you know. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It was, I still enjoyed it, just not at the same level, I guess.
Not same level. I mean, and just going back to Munro for a bit as well, I think
Hmm.
he also changes his mind quite a lot about magic, right? Because at the start of the book, he's like,
Yeah.
definitely in the past, he doesn't want anything to do with witches. He doesn't want anything to do with magic.
Hmm.
We learn a little bit about the son that he had before, but later he's like willing to embrace all of that, right? So he's kind of like,
Yeah.
well, you know, we need magic in order to keep us safe and to keep
Hmm.
us protected. And so I feel like his relationship with magic as well also is kind of like part of his story arc.
Yeah.
Say, I'm now going to accept this. And the fact that he was like willing to, even though for me, he was very bullheaded because he wanted her to be immortal and he wouldn't listen. He's like, no, we just need to
Hmm.
find a way. But the fact that he was prepared to sacrifice himself and his own soul by doing a deal with Dorada, I thought
Yeah.
also was just kind of like,
Which I was like, no, like when that
oh
was
yeah, I was like,
happening,
do
like,
not take that deal. Do
and
not.
then with like friends, like, don't do this, you know. And I'm like, don't listen to your woman, listen to your woman. And I'm like, what's going on with Dorada? You know, like she's like, seems like she's gonna have this interesting arc going on. Like that's what I mean. There's so many of these side characters that you've seen throughout the series that are like really. So I
Mhm,
think this does move the, you know, Ascension or whatever plot line too. Like we're seeing more going on. We're seeing, of course, Nyx
mhm.
get in there still. You know, but I was kind of like, where's the Morior? You know, like I was like really excited by the Morior, and
I was
then they
just
were
left them for a
there.
bit. Left them for a bit. But also, like again, it's kind of like I'm interested in the lower character, you know, the voodoo priestess, because you know she's
Hmm.
starting to have quite a lot to do with it now, and she makes a bit of a presence
Yeah.
in the next book as well.
I guess
Um,
that's kind of the other question I have is like the favorite side characters. I think she's one. Like I think Lo is
yeah.
like very interesting. I also really liked seeing the nymphs and how they really came out, and you know, where they were like the neutral party where they wouldn't do anything, but since he brought down that like whole statue god monument thing,
Mhm.
and one of theirs was like held captive because of that. So I thought that was really cool at the end, how they basically came and were like an ally to them in the
Mhm.
end. And I guess side characters, I mean, I don't even know if you can call him a side character. Obviously, it's Lothair, you know, seeing Nyx. All of those are always my favorite to see, but I don't really, I guess those are like main characters.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
They're
like,
side character in the story in this book, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, and I've said this before, but it just goes back to I think the world itself is bigger than the individual books, so it's kind of
yeah,
like it feels familiar when you're there. You kind of know these characters, you've seen them in
yeah,
other books, and then we see the crossovers and we see the other characters. And I am enjoying all of their interactions way more than I'm enjoying the individual like couples in a
yeah.
lot of not every book, but in a lot of the books, it's kind of like, yeah, they're almost like, oh yeah, great, you're gonna have your romance. What's going on over there?
Yeah. Like I love like Lothair complaining about like Nyx and just like what she did to him, even though they're like kind of friends. And like Lothair's woman kind of putting him in his place, you know, like I just love that this hick like human woman that, you know, is vampire now, like got Lothair. Like, it's just so, I mean, Lothair, you know, he is a scene stealer, and it was great to see him again, you know. And I even liked seeing Dorada. Like, it was kind of crazy. Like, I don't know what she's up to, but
yeah, and I wonder if she's going to turn out to be as bad as we think she is, because
yeah,
I mean, we'll get to it in a bit, but she makes an appearance later as well, right? So it's kind of like,
yeah.
at first she seems like she's complete evil,
Mm-hmm.
where as we start to get more glimpses of her, it's kind of like, is she a little bit more complex than maybe we think?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about this one? Was there anything you didn't like about the book?
Not that I can remember, because I read this right at the start of November. So it's been a
Yeah,
while.
that was a long time ago. I know, I saw you. I was like, oh my God, she already read it.
I was like, because I'm so close to the end now. I'm like, I need to get through it.
Just get it done.
Let's
get
go.
this done.
Let's go. Did I, anything I didn't like? Probably just like you. I think maybe the pacing was off just slightly. I don't know.
And I was trying to remember at the end, did like one of their brothers that was supposed to have been dead show up at the end or something? Because I thought I read somebody say that somewhere, and then I'm like, wait, did I miss that? But then I also think I just forgot. Like, so I don't know. Like, I might have totally messed that up, but I was like, I don't know. I
don't think so. Not that I remember. I don't remember there being.
Okay. Maybe I just missed it. I don't know.
Maybe I missed it too. I don't know.
But like, I guess I'll just leave that. But I don't know. I don't think there's nothing that I didn't like. I think I just had higher expectations for what I wanted. I still think it was a really good book. It was fast paced. I definitely recommend the audio. It was so good. I'm glad I got the audio. I even used a credit, I think, or bought like the audio for the witch one too. Because I was like, I can't go back like to not listening to Robert Petkoff read these. So yeah, and I thought the witch one was gonna have that one demon that kind of sounds like a pirate, you know, the one that has his own Uber thing in that one. I thought it was his story, and so I was like, oh, I have to listen to Robert Petkoff because he does this kind of like pirate, you know, accent, like, and it's great, but it wasn't him. But he's in it.
And I wasn't sure it was when I was reading like the blurb and stuff, and it said the name, and I didn't twig on who it was until I started reading it, and then I realized who the hero was going to be.
It's kind of hard because there's so many books, and you're like, oh, okay, that person was way back in this book.
Yeah.
But I'm like when I was reading the blurb for the next one we're reading, I'm like, wait, who's this sorcerer guy? I'm like, I think we've met him, but like, I don't remember, but I don't know. Yeah, so I didn't hate anything about this. I think it was really good. I think maybe it would be better on reread too, like if I reread it. But I did think it was very interesting. I think Cressley Cole still builds the world, and I think that's what's so important. And I think to anybody that wants to just jump in at Munro, don't freaking do it. Like, or don't jump in anywhere. I think you have to read this series in order because of everything going on in the world and the, you know, the different plot points of like what Nyx is doing, you know, all these things. It's like you would be confused going into one of these books blind, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And there's so many Easter eggs. And I think probably like once you've read it the first time, you can go back to the beginning, and then you would definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that anytime soon, I confess. But
I know it's going to be a few years. A few years maybe. I think like even like you know the hero from Hunger Like No Other is in this quite a bit too, so it's like it kind of like goes back like to stuff from that time too. I did like the whole thing where he had to use like the cuff on her to like help her maintain her beast, and how his brother basically went out there and they're like, we can't, where are we gonna get that, you know, like and so
dropped it in the river, like in South America somewhere. Oh, let's go into the crocodile infested waters and go and get that.
Like I love that. I do really like those brothers, you know. I think, and I love Like, so I think that's why I really enjoy them. So I, you know, I think it's just she's really built a really great series with so many interesting characters, and you know, everybody's gonna have like their little favorites. Oh, which another thing to bring up is the whole thing when they go to the Dacians and Kristoff is there or whatever, where he was supposedly captured by Lothair. That was a whole interesting thing too, because we're still waiting for Fury, and he needs to find his mate, and Lothair's literally like pretending like he knows where she is, but he doesn't. Nyx actually knows where she is, but not saying. I'm like, this poor guy is like.
But the other characters know where she is too, right?
Yeah, I think, but like Lothair doesn't know.
No,
because he was the one that like did something to her in the beginning, but like he didn't know. Really, but he's like, well, I mean, like now he can kind of keep him under his thumb a little bit by pretending that he can help him one day. So I'm like, I don't know when Kresley's gonna write that story, you know. So that's the thing is, as we're getting to the end here, I'm like, oh, now we're gonna have to suffer, like everybody else, like waiting for the next books, because who knows how long it's gonna be for her to like. Maybe she did really need a break, you know, after writing these and kind of just to do something else, maybe creatively. Like she might have just needed to kind of step away. Who knows? But I need Nyx's story. So, and I still want all the Morior, you know, like I want the dragon.
That would be last, right? I mean, this is the thing. The world is so big, and there's so many characters. It could go on forever.
Yeah, it can. It's like it's never ending.
And I think Nyx has to be the last one, no?
Yeah, that's what I think. Like it has to end with Nyx. So who knows? It's going to be a long time till we get to that one. But okay, let's go on to the Witch Queen of Halloween. How did you rate this one?
I loved this one. I was not expecting to like it at all. I had so much fun. I gave it 4.5 stars.
Yeah, that's like kind of where I was going, because it takes a lot for me to rate like a novella a 5-star usually. But this one was so good. Like I was kind of like, oh, I'm wasting like money to get this audiobook, and it's probably gonna, because that's how I felt when I did that for the last novella. But this one was so good. Like it was, and I think it's part of my horror fan girly type of thing. And I love Halloween, and I loved like all the stuff going on in it. Just gave all those vibes. And it was just really quick, but it like told a full story, even though it's a quick novella. Like, and I felt like their connection and romance. I felt like more between this couple, I felt, than like what I was feeling with Munro.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I liked it.
Yeah, I just was surprised how much fun it was, because I was a bit nervous going in, because I hate horror. Like I'm the biggest scaredy cat ever. Like I'm too scared to watch anything like that. So I'm like, and I heard that it was a little bit scarier, and that Chris Cole really likes horror movies, and she really wanted to lean into that. I was like, oh, what? I'm not. I might need to read this one during the daytime. I don't think I can read it at night. But I had so much fun with it, and that was the biggest thing. It wasn't necessarily like from a story perspective, it wasn't as complex maybe as some of the others.
Yeah,
it was fun to read.
Yeah. So I think it was really fun. I loved the whole them being trapped in like this haunted mansion, and it like bringing out like that curse, but not really, you know, like of all, but, and it was all these different like horror creatures coming for them. It even gave me like, I don't know if you ever watched Evil Dead. I don't know if you, since you don't like horror, it gave me like Evil Dead vibes. It's one of my favorite. It's so kitschy, so campy. It's like kind of a cult classic. And the second Evil Dead 2 is better, but like they literally go down into like the cabins thing, and they play this recording of like this guy, and then he had brought forth all these like demon, the evil. And so that's what it was reminding me of when they go and they find that guy that basically was trying to save his family and created the, what are they called again? The shoot, I just lost their, what, the ghouls or whatever. Is that what they were? Anyways, I forgot what they were called, but you know, where they bite them, kind of what happened with Munro, the ones that bit them, or were those the Wendigo? Forget it. My mind is all over the place. But it reminded me definitely of that, and I just loved that. And then also like they had like the telekinetic doll, and I was like, oh, so we got Annabelle up in here, you know.
Amazing. The Headless Horseman, like
yeah. So and I really loved that, and I loved the demon rock, where he was just like he was there because she was going to be there, and he wanted his mate, and their like failed dates, and all that kind of stuff, and it was just really cute. Like, and it was like high action, stuff going on where they're forced to like help each other survive and finally kind of like talk about things, but you don't really have any time to get intimate when you got like this whole house of evils coming after you. So I don't know. I really, really liked it. I liked the hero a lot. I thought it was interesting because I didn't realize this about like the smoke demons, how like the woman will just summon them, and then he kind of has to go, and she's like, well, I ain't dealing with this smoke demon, crap. And he's like, well, I'm waiting for my mate. I won't, do it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I mean, it's a pretty tough predicament for a smoke demon, right? Because the demons are notorious for like basically attempting the women, right, to see if they're fated mates. But every time he does, he kind of enters into a contract, which means they can summon him at any time, and then he keeps just like flipping off everywhere.
Yeah, that's not good on your date. That's going really well if you get summoned off to go be with another woman. Like, no.
But I think that's a really clever plot point though, because it was novella, like you said, we didn't really have a lot of time to get to know them. They're kind of on this, like they're just running through this house trying to get away from monsters and stuff. But I think Cressy Cole did a really good job of kind of like telling us that they had a relationship before. So we come into the start of this book feeling like, well, it's not so unusual that they would fall in love in one night, because actually it's got all this history behind it. So I think that was a clever plot point, because then I feel like, okay, well, we're at the right place now for them to actually move forward with their relationship.
Like, it already established they had a really great chemistry and connection, where he like already knew, like, she's my mate, like she's got to be my mate. And so like, you already felt this, like, it's a very cool like version of a second chance, in like this horror setting of, and then them finally, getting over those obstacles and coming together. And I really loved it. I could feel their chemistry and connection. And at first I was like, who's this Poppy? Like, I don't even know who she is, but I think it was cool because it introduced some new witches.
Yeah.
And I thought her power was really cool. And I really liked it, like, because then at the end, like, he's going to sacrifice himself to get bit by those creatures that I can't freaking get the name of. But like, she's able to like use her power to like stop. But at the end, that thing gets released or whatever, I think, from the thing. So I'm like, what's that going to lead to? Because Nyx had also brought up her like going, like something will change or something that with the tides of this night or whatever. So I'm like wondering, if this will have.
Well, that was really interesting, right? Because at the start of the book, it's Nyx, Loa, and Dorada, who are all kind of on a rooftop contemplating the night, right?
What an interesting trio.
I know, and this is why I think it is interesting. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit more like, maybe more to Dorada's character than we thought. And we know that Loa owes her a debt. We don't know what that's going to mean. And then they basically go, Mariquetta's been doing something, and then they kind of call Mariquetta and say, Mariquetta, what have you been doing? And Nyx is like, why are you dabbling? I'm there.
Like, I'm the manipulator here,
okay? Exactly. I'm like the fortune teller and telling people what to do. Why are you dabbling in my, like, stay in your own lane? This is my lane.
Yeah.
He's like, no, she needs to go there. And Nyx is like, well, I think maybe that's not the right thing, because some other bad thing will happen now as a result.
Yeah. So interesting. Who knows? Like, with what Cressy Cole, it's like all these little things could be important even in this novella down the line. Like, you just don't know. So I don't know. Like,
on the loose though, right? So we've still got the guy who has transformed into something we don't know what from the island.
Yes.
We haven't heard from him again.
I was thinking about him when I was listening to Munro for some reason. I was like, what happened to that guy? Like that villain that I wanted him dead. Yeah. I was like, he's still out there. What's going on with that storyline? Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know where he's gone, but now we've got another then.
Yeah.
On the loose. So yeah.
Well, and another thing about Munro too that I found interesting was like they were trying to like play up like the Morior being like evil still, and I was like, we kind of already like met the Morior, and I like them, so Nyx can play that all up she wants, but
well, maybe, but this is the thing, does she know? Does she genuinely believe they're evil? And this is the thing with Nyx, you never know whether she's being manipulative.
Yeah.
If she's being mischievous, like what is she doing? What's her plan?
You just don't know what Nyx is up to. I did love that scene too, back to Munro, was when she goes to those two evil chicks and is like trying to recruit them, and they're like, screw you. Like they think they're gonna kill Nyx, which is funny. I'm like, you ain't gonna kill Nyx. But she lets them know, because they have like this close relationship that nobody really understands, and like they're really close, like that if they don't go with her, one of them will die and the other one will be forced to like live without that person. And so then they were like, okay, we're on board. So I thought that was interesting too, because you just constantly see through each book Nyx is gathering her forces, she's manipulating people, she's getting things going. So Nyx is,
she's somehow even got the nymphs on side now, right?
Yeah, she's constantly working, man. She's working.
She's a busy girl. She's a busy girl.
Yeah, so I really did like the novella. Like I was much more happy with this novella than the last one. So I was happy. Like this was a good novella because it told a full story. It had a good romance. It had, good spice in it, but it wasn't too spicy because obviously they didn't really have a lot of time. But I didn't need it, like I think it was the perfect level. And so I really had a good time with that one. So
yeah, I did as well. I really liked it. Very good. And I really liked Rock. I thought he was great. And,
and she was cool too. She was a really strong, witch. I always like the witches. I like getting a little, me, I get bored of the Valkyries. And so when we go to a witch, I like that, like I really like Mariquetta. Like she's one of my favorites. And so just seeing like more of the witches, I really like. And I like how like the witches are always like hanging out with Nyx, partying with, like they'll do. So I really like the witches. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I mean, I just thought it was really clever.
Yeah.
Very nostalgic for horror movies if you love them. But I mean, I reckon I knew who the characters were. It's not like I didn't know who they were and stuff. I just thought, I just thought it was really good. My favourite side character is Desh, and I keep thinking because he's the pirate transporter, right? Because again,
that's what his name is. I keep forgetting his name.
He's Deshator or something. Like
he's so funny. Like I want him to have a book.
I love him, and I'm like, exactly. I want him to have a romance. What's going on there?
I know. He's so funny. Like, and his voice is done so good in the audiobooks, and so I love he's got his own little business going on. So I like the demons. They're good. I like all the different demons and seeing them again. I guess that would be, I can't even think of any other real side characters except for the main characters that happen to be featured in this, because it was very singular to like what they were going through in the house. So, but I think
Annabelle the doll, because Annabelle obviously had a big part to play.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I think it called it like Annalise or something. And I was like, wow, that's really close to like Annabelle. But so those were really exciting scenes because you could totally see it like going down. It was really exciting. So I liked all the horror elements, and it was a good novella. I was happy I actually got the audiobook for that one because it was good. So I would definitely still recommend that one. The last one we read, I would be like, oh, skip it, like you don't even really need to read that. But I think this one is probably a good one to read.
Yeah.
And it might be important down the line. I don't know. You don't know.
I think so.
But anyways, so we're going to be wrapping this up. But next month, I'm going to talk to you privately, Helen, to see when you want to do it, because I was thinking we could do it end of December or depending on your schedule, so that we're not doing it at the beginning of the new year. But we're only reading the one book, which is it Shadow's Heart? I think that's what it's called. So we're only reading Shadow's Heart, which is going to be great because we only have one book to read, and then we are finally done with this read along. It's been a long one. It's been a year commitment, and I'm glad I did it. You know, even though it's a lot, like I'm glad I did it because it made me stick with this and really get to enjoy this series. So hopefully people will find these lives at a later point and get to enjoy these books too. You know, or if you're still interested, dive in, you know, go back to the beginning, read the books. All the lives are on my channel, so you can always watch us dive deeper into these at a later time. But big thank you to Helen for sticking with me.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, leave a comment if you're watching this later. Let us know what you thought of these books. And we'll see you guys on the next live next month or December. It's already almost now. Okay. Bye, guys.
See you later. Bye.